begin the show in just a moment, kids. Ooh, it's going to be good. A lot of video, a lot of commentary, a lot of clips. Starts in just a second. Hello, John. Hello, Stacy. We'll be starting in just 1 second. All right, guys, let's get this going in 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to the show. It is me, broadcasting live, of course, from lovely Olathe, Kansas, in the heart of America. How are you? How's the weekend going? Many of you probably already taken the weekend off. I haven't had a weekend off in a very long time, but anyway, I hope you're enjoying the weekend with the family. We got a lot of things we want to get to, including taking apart Chaz Chop in Seattle. What a joke that was, race relations in the country and all that stuff. And we'll have some fun, too, but there is much to cover today. There's some very positive and some very negative. But we'll get to all of that here in just a couple of minutes. I don't know if you knew this. We had some very good news on the economy today. We had some really, really good news on the economy today. You realize last month, 4.8 million jobs. 4.8 million jobs were created in the country. Now, think about this. Think about what we've been through this year. Think about what the hell we've been through this year. My God. A coronavirus. And today I went downtown to the plaza in Kansas City. I don't even see the point in going down there now. It's a zombie apocalypse. Every restaurant, you got to require a mask to go in. Stores are only allowing so many people. You got to stand on the sidewalk if you want to go in and buy something. It's a joke. It is sad and pathetic. And normally the plaza is this vibrant, glorious, wonderful place. It was a turd today. And I'm like, I'm not gonna bother driving in for it anymore. I'm not. It's terrible. It's sad. Well, I took the day off, my first vacation day of the year. I wanted to be with my daughter. I wanted to check things out. Kendall, how you doing, man? Good to see you, Dave and Ben and Larry. And I'm sad for my city. I'm sad for my country. And tomorrow in the state of Kansas, they're going to require masks. Everybody's going to wear a mask when you're in public. Well, guess what, Kansas governor? You can suck it, okay? Because I do not have to wear a mask in public. It is not necessary. It is a mandate. It is not a law. It is not illegal for me to not wear a mask in public. Now, if I go into a grocery store and they tell me, you got to wear a mask if you want to shop here, then fine, I'll put a mask on. But I walked by P.F. Chang's today, and I walked by Cheesecake Factory today, and they said I had to wear a mask. And I said, no, we're not going to eat there then. And that's cool. I'm not going to try and effing sit in a restaurant and wear a mask. Literally, I go by P.F. Chang's on the plaza, and I love P.F. Chang's. I did an endorsement for them forever. I walked by P.F. Chang's on the plaza. Must wear a mask when you're entering. And then I looked at the people sitting in the booths, and none of them had their masks on. All right? This has all been nonsense. Listen, serious, okay? A lot of people got very sick. A lot of people died. How it was handled was lousy. Should have protected those who needed to be protected. Those who were prone to death with multiple causalities for death, including high blood pressure, including age, and other things. But to shut down the country wholesale like this, we've never seen anything like it. It was uncalled for, and it wrecked everything. And oddly enough, what happened? The country is coming back massively. 4.8 million jobs last month created. 4.8. Here's some of the good news.
Plus, all the boxes were checked, including the lower paying jobs where the Americans have been hit the hardest.
Charles Payne of Fox Business.
Those are the folks who cannot work from home. So they're back at work. This is an amazing story. The market's reflecting it. For me, we always hash out the data, but as an active investor and someone who has a daily newsletter on the market, it's always how the market reacts to it. And right now, I love the fact that futures are up 400 points on the Dow because it's saying we want great news. This is great news. The market keeps saying V-shaped recovery, even though the economists keep saying it's impossible.
Yeah, well, the economists are full of shit. And a lot of people have been full of shit about this entire thing. And a lot of people have been saying that the economy is not going to recover and all this is not going to be recovered because it's an election year. And I want to be nakedly political about this, okay? And don't worry, I won't take my clothes off, ladies. But this has all been about Donald Trump's reelection this year. Everything has been this idiotic movement with regard to tearing down statues and taking off TV shows and actors saying they can't do black voices anymore and Columbus statues come down. This is the wet dream of the class of 1968. This is classic Marxism. And it's all because George Floyd died. And most of the Democrats couldn't remember the guy's name. I'll share that very shortly. This has all been about Donald Trump's reelection. And you know what? F you if you don't support Donald Trump. F you if you support this anarchy. You're going to get your asses handed to you in November, and you better get used to another 4 years of this shit. You better get used to another 4 years of economic success and wonderful things for the economy of the country and absolutely awful things from the left trying to tear this president down. We had an impeachment process that was a joke. We had a Russian collusion investigation that was a joke. Now we've had this coronavirus, which is a joke. Yes, people get sick, but it should not have shut down everything. We watch too many zombie movies. We watch too many pandemic movies, and we projected this on the world and on the country particularly, and Democrats have used it to slow down the country, slow down the economy, slow down the recovery, and unfortunately, like with today's jobs report of 4.8 million jobs created in a month, which is unprecedented. You can't stop the American people. Hello, Nick. How are you? Here's another little montage of the goodness of the economy.
Our economy is roaring back. It's coming back extremely strong.
Wow, these are really solid numbers.
We saw payrolls up 4.8 million.
2.1 million jobs created in leisure and hospitality.
Jobless rate at 11.1%. That's a drop.
It really is remarkable.
I found it astonishing.
Well, looky there. It looks like the economy is roaring back, despite what a lot of people have said. I heard, it was Chris Plant today talking about the economy roaring back, and there was I think it might have been a Wall Street Journal or New York Times reporter saying all of the reasons why that was bad. And it was all because Donald Trump, it's an election year, and it will work in his favor. Make no doubt about it. There are people who would love, they don't mind seeing people suffer. They do not mind. They don't care. They want suffering. I'm not joking here. Okay? I'm not kidding. There are people in the country who want to see legitimate suffering. Okay? So that's happening. Hold on. I think we've got a little buffering issue. Let me try this real quick here, guys. I want to make sure that we are on here because sometimes when I broadcast on multiple platforms, we have some issues, and I don't want to cause the broadcast to stop. Okay, there we go. All right, so that there are people who legitimately don't care if there is suffering and hope for it, because Donald Trump is the president. All right, let's move on. In Seattle, the CHOP movement has ended up laying a giant goose egg. It's a giant turd. It is exactly like Occupy, but worse. Occupy was 8 or 10 years ago. This was an excuse by anarcho-communists to plant their asses on the ground, shut down parks, and then in this case of Seattle, a very popular part of the city the Capitol Hill zone, known for commerce, kind of a bohemian version of that. Oh, and by the way, Uptown in Minneapolis, we used to live in Uptown. Uptown burned because of the George Floyd death. That said, this whole movement has been a giant flaming turd once again, and it is proven that a bunch of miscreants who get together and shut down blocks and demand things, who have no jobs, do not create anything, do not have any structure in society, and just kind of sit there and demand and throw a temper tantrum, it just falls flat on its face. That's what happened in Seattle. That's what's happening around the country, and it didn't take very long for this crap to do a face plant. That said, the city of Seattle, behind its terrible mayor and it's the state's terrible governor, realized a month in, and an increase, by the way, in the chop zone. You want to know what the crime increase of felonious crimes, what the increase was in that area in just about a month? 525% increase. 2 murders, 1 kid severely injured, critical condition in the hospital, and all 3 of them are black teenagers. There you go. Bravo with your Black Lives Matter. Bravo with your Black Lives Matter. Here they are cleaning up the god-awful mess created by these Lord of the Flies 2 miscreants. What a joke. Look at all the garbage and the refuse. And the tents. What a frigging mess. None of these people while we're there created anything. None of these people ever worked. All they did was march around and spray paint and break stuff and sexually assault each other, and in 2 cases murder each other. What an effing filthy effing mess. Even spray painted the porta potties. Dear Lord. Let's do a little bit more on the old choppy thing. I've got some good. You got some good video on chop. You know, because here's what I said the other day, and my friend Chris Plant kind of alluded to this, but I've said, well, right now we're dealing with a generation in these encampments when they create stuff like these are the people who the non-candy checkout at the grocery store were created because some parents can't say no. When I was a kid, if there was candy at the checkout and you said, hey, Mom, I want a Snicker bar, Mom said, no, you're not getting a friggin' Snicker bar. Knock it off. Have you been to the store lately when you see a kid throw himself down on the ground and scream and yell and all of this stuff? Have you seen that lately? Have you seen it? I'm going to kill the YouTube broadcast here because I think it's taking up a little bit of bandwidth. I want to get rid of it. I'm going to get rid of it. YouTube Live. Yeah, we're going to get rid of that. Okay. Cancel. All right. Anyway, that's what this generation is all about. That's the generation right now that is causing issues. Let me try one more time. There we go. Okay. So. That's what we're dealing with. Here's the police officers yesterday taking over CHOP in Seattle. We're the big, brave CHOP members. We're the big, brave CHOP members with their assault weapons behind the barricade, defending CHOP. Come on, man! This is a movement here, man. This is the French Revolution. Vive la Revolution. Why are you wussing out so quickly? Why don't you have your assault weapons there at the front gate and fight the police? Come on, man. If you're into it, you got to have some skin in the game. Didn't take much for this little vomitous movement to completely be dismantled. Minimum from the police. There we go. Removing dumpsters and other stuff from the filthy area that it should have been shut down a month ago. It should have been shut down as soon as the first tent was put up. Here are barricades being removed. Kind of the equivalent of the giant piles of furniture, etc. in Les Miserables. Isn't this funny? In places like this area, Capitol Hill in Seattle and Uptown in Minneapolis, they're the same areas dominated by the same political ideologies. and they resulted in their own freaking destruction. Bye-bye, barricade. Yeah, I see these posts up on the, look at that. That was a telephone pole at one time, and there's years worth of these, whatever. It could be whatever bad band is playing down the street. Could be, whatever movement is happening. Bye-bye, Chop. Bye-bye, Chop. Here's a little montage of Chop's greatest hits from the Seattle Police Department. Oh, those are gunshots. Those are gunshots.
Somebody's saying, can I walk to Pine and 13th? Yeah, I can walk up there. I do see some, Oh.
There's some more gunshots. Yeah. Those aren't fireworks. Nice.
More shots fired. I'm running away.
Yeah, you probably should.
Be the end of Chop, in my opinion, this second shooting. I think it's pretty much over after this. This is kind of a nightmare.
Yeah, it was a nightmare. It was a nightmare. Congratulations, left-leaning Democrat politicians. Look at the crap that you have made. New York is descending into chaos. Seattle is recovering now. Will any lessons be learned? No, I doubt it. Will the 19-year-old driver of the car who was murdered the other night? No, the 16-year-old black driver of the Jeep the other night. Will the killer be found? No. And the interesting thing also, there were 300 shots fired. This kid and his 14-year-old friend were in a Jeep, and they said that the people at Chop said they were shooting at them. Their windows were rolled up. The windows were shot out, and they were murdered. But the mayor of Minneapolis or Seattle said that this could be a summer of love.
I want to just get a clear sense of this, though, Mayor. Why do you believe
this is Mayor Durkin? This is a couple of weeks ago when Donald Trump said, we're going to send the National Guard in and we're going to get control of this area again. And this is what she had to say.
The president chose to talk about domination in the face of what's happening, not just in your city, but in many instances when it comes to what the
Chris, I hear you're kind of into the domination thing. I just kind of
remedy is for the
heard you were into it
unrest in the country right now. What do you think this is about for him?
I think it shows a complete lack of understanding of why people are in the street.
Who has the lack of understanding now? Who has the lack of understanding now?
They're in the street fighting a system of domination.
Wow.
And he doesn't understand that.
These Democrats are talking a lot about domination. I don't know.
And his response is always one that's bellicose and militaristic.
It's bellicose and militaristic. Stop it!
But he doesn't honor the military in that way either, as you've seen from the...
You certainly don't honor the military. You hate the military and you hate the police.
Line of generals that have disputed him. So I think he says dominate because he totally does not understand what is happening in America, and he is desperately...
Oh, I think he does, and I think you misunderstand. You think that this movement is a popular movement. You think that people really hate America. You think that people really hate Mount Rushmore and Thomas Jefferson and George Washington. You think that people hate the police. You are so effing wrong. And in November, you're going to find out in such a big way.
Trying to start the old fights in the old divisions that put him in power in the first place.
How long do you think Seattle in those few blocks looks like this?
I don't know. We could have the summer of love.
Summer of love. It's July 2nd. I believe summer just started about a week and a half ago. Yeah. Now, here's the reason why Mayor Durkin decided to do something about the Chaz Chop movement. Because one of the idiot radical members of the city council took the protesters to her house, to the mayor's house.
Another night of protests, but this time the protests happened right outside the home of Seattle's mayor. Demonstrators marched to Jenny Durkin's house this evening. King 5's Tony Black is live in Seattle with more on what the demonstrators had to say. Tony, good evening.
Good evening to you, Vanessa. Yeah, earlier there was a large crowd of people.
Of course, he had to send the reporter to the scene with the last name Black. I'm sure he's very good.
We're here at Magnuson Park, and we'll show you some video of that earlier today so you can get a look at the size of the crowd that was there. An organizer who you will hear from shortly says that this demonstration started at Magnuson, then was joined by another group that had been marching near UW. Councilmember Shama Sawant was also here at this rally and spoke to the crowd, listing their demands and calling on Mayor Durkin to...
Here's the deal. You can demand all you want, but if you are not in the position to demand anything, what you demand means dick. We saw this at the University of Missouri campus where the chancellor and the president resigned because the children demanded things. And again, this is the candy aisle at the grocery store. This is the candy aisle. This is people saying, I want candy, I want candy, I want candy, collapsing on the ground. And your parent saying, okay, just don't embarrass me. We'll get to the car. We'll be okay. Or saying, no. These are the children whose parents never said no.
Resign. Now, it is not clear when the decision was made or how it was made to make their way towards the mayor's home.
Demand.
But here's an organizer
We're demanding.
Explaining the reason for doing so.
We came down to Jenny Durkin's mansion.
Okay, listen, take the strong box. Take the stagecoach, but just let my men live.
Bring the demands of the movement and of the families who have...
Is that COVID approved? I don't think so.
...been impacted by police violence.
I think that was the kind of mask that was worn by white cowboys who were oppressive back in the day.
To her doorstep, as she seems to not be able to hear our demands any other way.
Now, Mayor Durkin's office...
Here's a statement from the mayor upset that she's fine with the downtown Chaz area being completely destroyed and people being intimidated and raped and assaulted and robbed and all that stuff. But when it comes to her hood, not so cool.
Gave us this statement, which I will read part of it to you now, saying, quote, Mayor Durkin and her family are in the state program to keep their address confidential because of the death threats mostly related to her work as Seattle's U.S. attorney under President
Can you imagine what an awful attorney she was?
Obama. Instead of working to make true change, Councilmember Sawant continues to choose political stunts. Tonight she did so without the regard for the safety of the mayor and her family. The mayor was not even home.
And this is when the mayor decided to do something about Chaz or Chop. She could have given a rat's ass about the business owners and the people who lived in the area, the Capitol Hill area of Seattle, until it impacted her. Until it impacted her. Joe Biden had his first presser of the last 85 days, and of course he was pretty incoherent actually.
I'm going to try to say this politely, is to lower the rhetoric based on division. Stop appealing to the...
Honey, we're going to have to take Grampy's keys away.
The less healthy side of society.
See, he almost looked kind of thrilled, like that he was able to complete a sentence. He kind of had a smile, like, I'm going to get extra applesauce for dinner tonight because I completed a thought. Mm-hmm. Here is Doug McElway of Fox News talking to him about his mental acuity. Joe Biden's
fortune. Last question, real quick. Some have speculated, sir, that you are subject to some degree of cognitive decline. I'm 65. I don't have word recollection that I used to have. I forget my train of thought from time to time. You got 12 years on me, sir.
I left my coffee on the back of a urinal a couple weeks ago.
Have you been tested for some degree of cognitive decline?
It happens. It happens. It's not pretty. I'm not proud of it, but I did. I left it right there.
Line.
I've been tested and I'm constantly...
I didn't drink it after I went back in. I just threw it away.
Tested. Look, all I got to do is watch me, and I can hardly wait to compare my cognitive capability to the cognitive capability of the man I'm running against.
And I believe that man is Mitt Romney.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Now, where are we going? I have no idea. Okay, there you go. Joe Biden and his cognitive ability. Oh, this is pretty funny. Caleb Hull took a little, had a little bit of fun with the sign language interpreter on the Joe Biden presser because she looked a little lost.
I'm going to try to say this politely, is to lower the rhetoric based on division. Stop appealing to the...
that's okay. All right. Yeah. She had no idea. She's kind of like, okay, trying to be cool as an interpreter. Got to be a tough job with Joe Biden. Now, I don't know if you heard this the other day. Harvard graduate Clara Janover made a video threatening to stab anyone who had the nerve to say all lives matter. And the whole Black Lives Matter thing is a joke. It's a Marxist, leftist, anarcho-terrorist movement that has brainwashed a lot of children into believing that there is massive racial, and there is racial disparity in the country. There is, no doubt. But as far as institutional, it does not exist. It's bullshit. But, of course, a lot of people will disagree with me, and a lot of people have unfriended me, literally, not on Facebook, like unfriended me, don't want to be my friend anymore kind of stuff. Because I had the audacity to say, maybe some personal responsibility is involved here if you stay in a school and you get married when you have children rather than having a bunch of children without getting married, and you celebrate violence in media and nepotism and not nepotism, but misogyny, things like that. But that makes me a racist. I'm a racist. Racist. Rob's a racist. Oh my God. He suddenly changed and became a complete racist. Dear God in heaven. Did he go to his Klan rally tonight? Anyway, a lot of that crap. This woman is Asian, whatever. And I believe that, if I'm not mistaken, Asians are quite privileged with regard to higher education. That's what I've heard. In fact, at Harvard, I believe they're making it harder for Asians to go to school there because so many Asians do so well that Harvard is saying, hey, man, all the Asians are taking our enrollment, and consequently, we've got to include other people who might be from afflicted groups. But Asians are like, no, man, we're kicking butt, and so we're going to go ahead and get. But they're saying to Asian students, you're Asian, you can't come here. We've got to have people of a different ethnicities who may not perform academically as well. But you're making the university a little bit too Asian, and I'm not joking. This is happening at a lot of Ivy League schools because Asian kids are kicking ass. Indian kids are kicking ass too. That's just the way it is. And here, if my kid gets his ass kicked by an Asian kid, then he got his ass kicked, and he needs to up his game. That's it. He didn't actually. My son kicks ass in school. He's awesome. But anyway, here's this brainwashed dipshit who had a dream job apparently right out of college. That she's lost her job at Deloitte and Touche. Is it Deloitte and Touche or Deloitte and Douche? Anyway. Here she is. This is her talking about if you had the audacity to say all lives matter, how she would stab you. And she gets all ghetto here. This is really interesting. This Asian kid, probably raised in a suburbia, in a cul-de-sac, maybe in a gated community, and getting all ghetto here.
Next person who has the sheer nerve, the sheer entitled caucasity to say...
Caucasity. This is Caucasian. It has nothing to do with male genitalia. I could be wrong, though. Let's try to
person who has the sheer nerve, the sheer entitled caucasity.
Caucasity. It's caucasity because I guess I'm Caucasian is what that is, yeah.
To say all lives matter, I'm going to stab you.
I'm going to stab you. So is that your name? I'm going to stab you. Ima. You're in a cul-de-sac private school. You went to where? What? Harvard. Yeah.
I'm gonna stab you, and while you're struggling and bleeding out, I'm gonna show you my paper cut.
I'ma show you my paper cut.
And say, my cut matters too.
Okay, there you go. Let's watch that.
The sheer entitled caucasity to say all lives matter. I'm gonna stab you. I'm gonna stab you.
She's got a lot of hate.
And while you're struggling and bleeding out, I'm gonna show you my paper cut and say, my cut matters too.
Okay, there's a lot of ballsy bullshit and this woman wouldn't know how to stab someone, wouldn't know how to, has never been in a fight in her life. She talks smack on TikTok, and if you're on TikTok and you're a big deal, you're a moron. I have an Instagram page, but it's all about food porn. But she is a tick idiot, and maybe that's a word. Here she is spewing some more white people crap, her hatred for some odd reason, and I think it's because she went to Harvard and because she's been brainwashed by academia. Here she is spewing hatred about white people.
So I genuinely did not know this, but cracker apparently is a slur used to oppress white people and silence them.
In both videos, she has some sort of a beverage container with her.
Like, I had no idea that you guys were being called Cracker, Taffy, 8 Mile, Albino, Betty, Crocker, Cracker Jack, Dog Fucker, Egg, Pasty, Ghost, Hick, Hillbilly, Keebler, Mayflower, Mayonnaise. Like, shit! Like,
I don't think I've ever been called a dog fucker before.
Genuinely did not know this, but cracker apparently is a slur used to oppress.
Call me a cracker. I don't care. I actually like crackers. I like Ritz. I like the Cheez-Its actually are my favorite. I love those. Oh my God. When I get started on a box of Cheez-Its, take them away, kids.
White people and silence them. Like, I had no idea that you guys were being called Cracker, Taffy, 8 Mile, Albino, Betty, Crocker, Cracker Jack.
Betty Crocker? What do you mean Betty Cracker?
Dog Fucker, Egg, Pasty, Ghost.
Dog Fucker. I just think. Dog fucker? Are white people, do we have a propensity to have sexual relations with our dogs?
Hick, Hillbilly, Keebler, Mayflower, Mayonnaise.
I have 3 dogs. Never even thought of it.
Like, shit! Like, it's been used to oppress and silence you? Like, damn, I wish it worked. Shut the fuck up.
Okay. I will if you go first. Okay. Well, she lost her job today. She lost her job at Deloitte and Douche because she violently threatened people.
Trump supporters took my job away from me. I've gotten death threats.
No, Trump supporters didn't take your job away. The responsible people at the company realized what a effing psycho you are.
Rape threats, violent threats. It was okay. But now it doesn't like my future.
When you just talked about stabbing people and watching them bleed out. And now you're saying that you're being the victim of a violent threat.
My future's entirely compromised because Trump supporters have decided to come for my life.
Oh, man, this is major victimhood on parade.
God, this sucks. You guys suck.
No, you kind of suck, actually.
I'm too strong for you.
Are you?
I'm too strong for any of you.
You're not strong at all. You're showing how weak you are.
All lives matter. Racist Trump supporters.
Oh, you poor thing. Go back to Harvard and get a job in academia.
It sucks, but it doesn't suck as much as systemic racism.
Ah, yes, that's what it is.
I'm not going to stop using my platform to advocate for it.
Well, your platform kind of collapsed.
That you can't see that. That you are cowardice enough to fight somebody who's going to make an indelible change in the world and is going to have an impact.
She really thinks she's going to make an indelible change in the world? I don't think so. I don't think so. I'm thinking very soon she could be like on TikTok doing side boob on the mirror, trying to get some followers and all that stuff because she's not very smart. Here's a little bit more from the TikTok baby.
I know this is what Trump supporters wanted, because standing up for Black Lives Matter put me in a place online to be seen by millions of people. The job that I had worked really hard to get.
You lost your job because you're an a-hole, and the company said they don't like you because your propensity to violence, and they don't want to have anything to do with you, and it's all your fault. Lesson learned, 23-year-old graduate from Harvard. Although I think it's Harvard, you're probably like 29 now.
And meant a lot to me. Just called me and fired me because of everything. I don't know if everyone's seen, but it's been circulating a lot. My Black Lives Matter TikToks were picked up by conservatives and spread and shared. And people were demanding that I be fired, which I just got. My job that I worked really hard for.
Too bad. I want candy. Okay. Just don't pitch a fit, and we'll take you out to the van, and I'll get you your Snicker bar, your Kit Kat, or your Sour Patch Kids. Just don't. I love being right. I love being right. And through all of this, hello, Marion. Hello, Glenn. The last couple of months have been very interesting because I landed a job on Newsmax TV. Let me get the Newsmax logo up here. Where is it? Down here somewhere. I landed a TV gig on Newsmax TV despite radio's best bets to or best efforts to silence me. Commercial radio, which is just awful. Commercial radio is just terrible. Run by terrible people mostly. I'm not, there's some good people in commercial radio, but by and large, just an awful bunch of people who are in a bankrupt industry. Anyway, that said, there we go. Newsmax. Here we go. Let's put it up. Newsmax. That's where I work now. Yes, on Newsmax. That's where I work now. Anyway, I have, because I've been outspoken and before for many years, and I was talking to Mary Walter, is a radio host in WMAL in Washington, D.C. She's gone the opposite way. She now is doing radio, and she says that TV is very difficult, particularly for a woman who is no longer 25 years old with big fake boobs and bleached blonde hair. Fox News, thank you very much. And other news outlets, and I get that, but radio is terrible because they have no budget, and they're run by people who have driven the industry into bankruptcy completely, and still have an attitude, and still think they're like the end all. And actually, my show that I do here and on Newsmax gets 10 times the reach that my radio show on this little podunk radio station in Kansas City, KCMO, ever got. Listen, I'm glad I don't work there anymore. That said, because I've been very outspoken about my views about what's really important, and that is the black lives that do matter in cities like Chicago, where 16 people died last weekend, 3 children. The weekend before, another 3 kids died. And because I say we need to look at the societal ills that are causing that, not at a cop in Minneapolis who murdered a man, and he did. But because of that, I am no longer invited to people's homes. I am no longer commented on by friends that I had for a very long time because I had the audacity of speaking out, sharing my honest thoughts, which are not racist. I've worked in inner cities for years in places like Cincinnati, Minneapolis, and Washington, D.C., and I know what the societal ills that are causing this are. But because of the lack of melanin in my skin, I'm a racist. So part of me kind of just says, screw it. Let's let the country implode. And then part of me also says, but think about all the kids who are suffering. I've worked a lot with adoption and fostering, and I've seen the number of white families that adopt black children because of the implosion of the black family in inner cities. Kids were able to go on despite skin color and succeed and thrive, and they're thrilled even if the parents are not black like them. If you go on to adoptuskids.org, you'll see the disproportionate kids of color who are in the foster program and the number of kids who are age out of the program without ever getting a permanent home. It's tragic. That said, let's move on. Let's move on. Let's see here. We've got some stuff. Oh, this guy in the McCluskey family in St. Louis the other day. They were approached by some Black Lives Matter people who went into their private neighborhood, knocked down the gate, and decided to march into the neighborhood. Well, first of all, it's a private neighborhood. Gated community is gated for a reason. It is maintained and owned by the people inside the gated community. And as much as you hate them because they're wealthy, blah, 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 gated communities exist for a reason. And when you kick down that gate into the community, that is like breaking out a window and crawling into somebody's house. It's really what it is. He was on a British TV show talking about the protesters who stopped by the house the other day to protest.
People who were the aggressors, the aggressors here were not people of color.
The vast majority of the people.
That is his attorney, I guess.
Were Caucasian.
He's Don Knotts, I believe, in about 1970.
At least the best that I could tell. And how...
Oh, well, the protesters were mostly white. Really? Yeah.
People of color.
The vast majority of the people were Caucasians, at least the best that I could tell. And how...
Or really angry Asians. Really, really, really angry Asians.
How they can turn this into a race-baiting situation, which is what it is complete nonsense, because race had absolutely nothing to do with it. It never entered my mind.
If it did enter his mind, why didn't he have a KKK hood on? Why did he not have a burning cross in his yard? Because he was just there to defend himself and his home and his family. Here's the thing. This guy is a BLM supporter. This guy is representing a black man who was in jail because of a police brutality case. And he was just protecting his house because he's seen what happened in places like Seattle. And let's not forget Ferguson. Remember Ferguson? Remember Minneapolis? Minneapolis just disappeared from the map, even though George Floyd was killed there, because 600 to 1,000 businesses were burned or destroyed, and the city has been ruined, and the police department is being defunded and all that stuff. So he had seen all of that stuff, and he didn't want it to come to his neighborhood. Here he is talking about why he came out with a gun. Again, this is on British television.
There was no thought whatsoever in my head at the time that I grabbed my rifle what the race or nationality or religious background or anything of the people coming through that.
Did he say, hey, all of you black protesters over there, all of you white protesters over here, I'm only going to shoot the black people?
Gate where what I was facing was an angry group of people that were, the best that I could tell, about to kill me and burn my house. And there has been significant precedent for that in the city of St. Louis, sufficient.
Remember Ferguson?
That I thought what was coming through that gate was my death, and I took the appropriate action.
And by the way, he was right, and he says it was the right thing to do.
Once they entered that private property, they were on the property of Mr. McCloskey, whether it was the road, whether it was the sidewalk, or whether it was the lawn. And in Missouri, we are rugged individualists.
Castle Doctrine.
We are from the heartland of America. You mess with a man's castle.
If you mess with them, I think you're partial slipping a little bit.
You compromise the integrity and safety.
Is that Jeff Goldblum at 70, or is it Don Knotts?
Of his castle, his wife, his children, his property.
Leaning towards the Jeff Goldblum.
And you are lawfully entitled to hold the weapon of your choice, flourish it, discharge it, and kill to protect your land, woman, children, and your property.
Not crazy about the lawyer. Here is Chris Cuomo going after Mr. McCloskey, because Chris Cuomo. Now, I'd like to find Chris Cuomo's address and send some BLM protesters there and see how he reacts.
Spooked you about what you needed to do. Mr. McCloskey, go ahead. Last word to you.
All right. Guy stands in front of me, pulls out 2 loaded pistol magazines, snaps them together in front of my face, and says, "You're next." Okay? If you were there, Chris, I think you'd feel like you had a right to defend yourself as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Somebody takes out magazines or ammunition and clicks it and makes a direct threat to me, I would feel threatened 100%.
And that's what happened to me.
And look, I know that you're going through a process with this. I welcome you having counsel. If you were within your rights to do what you were doing, it should be adjudged as such. I wanted to talk to you about the broader implication, because it's just a horrible picture of what's going on in America right now. So to me, it's not about what's right and what's
wrong. Oh, listen to this. It gets rich.
Wrong just in a court of law. It's about what we want right and wrong about how we treat each other. And that's why the president retweeted this tweet. Mr. Watkins, you know it, and Mr. McCloskey, you know it. He retweeted it because he liked the image of white resistance to this movement.
You are such an asshole. That is not what this is all about. I don't care what if this were a black man and a group of white people barged into the neighborhood and he came out with a gun? You would have no problem with that at all.
And I'm not.
And by the way, these protesters were mostly white.
Saying that was fair to you. But we know that's why he did it, because that's why he deleted it. I wanted you to speak.
Oh, he actually didn't retweet that. Chris, you were wrong.
I'm glad you're a mind reader, because no one else thinks you are.
Oh, in fact, he didn't delete it. Good. Makes my point even more. You didn't say that. It was said to me for me. I'm thinking about something else where someone was screaming white power in a video that the president retweeted. He deleted that one. He didn't delete the one of you. I wanted to give you a chance to speak about it. We both know you don't have to be a mind reader to assess a pattern. You're not a mind reader either. I haven't seen the video of the person clapping the magazines, but you drew certain inferences from the behavior before you. I'm doing the same thing. We've seen behavior before us. I'm making a judgment. I'm sorry that you are caught in it the way you are if it's not what you intend.
Yeah, you are making a judgment. You are saying that he is inherently racist, even though he's representing a black man, even though he is a supporter of Black Lives Matter. You are making an inference, Chris, and this is what you do because you're a giant flaming steroidal douchebag.
Ended by all of this, Mr. McCloskey, and I wish you good luck.
Yeah, whatever. I wish you good luck. And terrible ratings, by the way, and terrible ratings. Oh, here is the attorney for the state of or the city of St. Louis talking about how Mr. McCloskey should not have defended himself.
Hello, I'm Kimberly Gardner, circuit attorney for the city of St. Louis, and I am disturbed by the events that occurred over this weekend, where there were peaceful protesters who were met with guns and a violent assault.
No, you're wrong.
We must protect the rights to peacefully protest.
Yeah,
and
you know, if you were peaceful, that would be great.
Intimidation or use of force will not be tolerated. Since learning of these events over this weekend, I've worked with the public and the police to investigate these tragic events. Make no mistake, the circuit attorney's office will not tolerate the use of force or intimidation to affect the rights of individuals to peacefully protest.
You're in a private, gated neighborhood. You broke the gate down to enter and protest. You have no rights whatsoever there, you idiot.
To protect their First Amendment right. And I will use every extent of Missouri law to hold individuals accountable.
Every extent? What?
Of individuals to peacefully protest and to protect their First Amendment right. And I will use every extent of Missouri.
I will use every extent of Missouri. What the hell is an extent? What?
And I will use...
My mother had a stent put in her heart.
Every extent of Missouri law.
I will use every extent of Missouri law.
To hold individuals accountable.
Okay. All right. You'll use every extent. Let me find out what that means, and then we'll get back to you, because I don't really think I'm very intimidated right now because you said an extent, which is not a word. Anyway. Black Lives Matter marching through Washington, D.C. didn't take very long to show their anti-Semitism. They needed to cross their legs and not show their anti-Semitism. Here they are saying, Israel, we know you. You murder children too.
Israel, we know you. You murder children too.
I think that's Embassy Row. I've been down there before. It's pretty cool. Let's face it. The big race pimps out there, and that includes Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton. They're very anti-Semitic. We had a President, Barack Obama, very anti-Semitic. The roots of this cause are very anti-Semitic. I'm not sure exactly why they are, but they really are.
We know you murder children too. Israel, we know you murder children too.
Okay, the people in the march are like, just repeat what he says. What he said, what Israel, you murder children too. Okay, just repeat. That's fine. I mean, that's fine. We all like ice cream. Okay, everybody's on there, pretty much. And then all of a sudden he just kind of starts saying things like, we think Israel murders people too. And everybody's kind of like, okay, we think Israel murders people, I guess. Is that right? Are we hearing that okay? Is what he's... Just repeat it? Okay, no problem. Okay. We are leftist tools. So let's go ahead and just repeat it. This is a footage of a protester in New York who's batshit crazy, by the way, and calling a black cop a black Judas. The city has voted to scrap $1 billion from the police budget. I want you to see how. Would you be very concerned about this person's opinion? This is somebody who clearly is a pre-op transsexual. I'm thinking maybe going through some hormonal stuff because he's got boobies.
I can't believe y'all are getting paid to sit there like idiots.
What was that, like a French laugh there? Hold on. Sacré bleu, très bien. Oh, bon, très bien.
This is beautiful.
This is beautiful. This is where they begin to harass the police.
You guys go to clown college for like 26 weeks for those
You guys like go to clown college? Seriously? I'm like, what? Just like serious?
A hairdresser has to go to school for longer than you do.
You see what I mean? That's a dude. I'm thinking it's a dude, but somebody's taking some hormones or eating too many chicken breasts that have been treated.
You don't even have a college education to be out here making demands about the people. When you can't even read a
He struts around kind of like an ostrich. Watch this.
history book.
This person apparently is a dancer.
Where you come from. But you want to sit here and tell me that you're educated enough to make demands about you know nothing about.
And you're making demands while wearing what could be, I guess, a Tinkerbell skirt with possible hormonal boobies and flats. I mean, if you're going to wear, if you're going to commit, wear heels.
Yup. You should know better. You should know better. Traitor to your people.
All right, okay. He's a traitor to your people. What are you? You're a traitor to, I don't know, ostriches? Transsexual ostriches? I could be wrong. I'm just going to walk right over here, and I'm just going to stand right here to the French guy who was laughing like a French guy.
You're like the Black Judas.
He's a Black Judas.
Selling Christ
I doubt you believe in God.
to fucking 33 cents.
Well, at that point, you're kind of like, as a police officer, you're like, it's not really worth my time. You just, honestly, wow. You're insane. You're just kind of insane. I mean, do you have any credibility wearing a Tinkerbell skirt and flats and undergoing some sort of hormonal treatment that would cause you to have boobies and... Yeah. Anyway, it's Mario. Is Mario Cuomo? Which one is the governor of the state of? Chris Cuomo is the CNN anchor. Is it Mario Cuomo? Anyway, the governor of the state of New York has decided to create some sort of a 7th grade science project with regard to the corona virus peaking, and he created this giant green mountain that he unveiled the other day. Now, if you notice the governor a couple of weeks ago, he also came up. He said that if manufacturers couldn't come up with enough hand sanitizer, New York was going to create its own brand of hand sanitizer. That didn't pan out. And then today, or yesterday or the day before, he came up with a giant green mountain that represented the pandemic. Here it is.
This, you know what this is? This is the mountain. What is the tallest mountain in the state of New York? Mount Marcy. This is the mountain that New Yorkers climb.
Andrew Cuomo. Mario was his father.
You know, I keep showing the curve.
There you go. This is the giant pile of bodies that I created by letting COVID patients go into nursing homes. It's twice as many people died as in 9/11, but that's the giant mountain of bodies. Oh, no, nothing. No. I didn't say anything. It's actually the curve thing, yeah.
It's actually proportionate. We started on
I think next time you should try a diorama. A diorama would be good.
one, and the numbers kept going straight up for 42 days.
I guess that's what the 42 is all about. You know, to really make that presentation awesome, he should have hired Peter Brady.
It works. It works. Now watch the lava ooze out.
Do we have to be interrupted by that childish toy?
I think the same thing was said by the press at the Cuomo event. God, clothes in the 70s were so cool. Look at that belt. That is so awesome. And this is where the girls kind of start having fun being covered with mud, which I shouldn't have feelings about. Listen, I was a kid when this came out. I could be so metaphorical right now, but I won't. Teenage boy, volcano spewing everywhere. Okay, you know what I'm saying. Hey, there's Peter.
What in the world happened? My volcano worked.
Yeah, like Mount Vesuvius.
His volcano worked. Anyway. Sorry, didn't want to go there, but kind of had to. Anyway, I was a child when that came out. So I don't know if you knew this, but Gone with the Wind is coming back to HBO Max, and they're making it they have to have some sort of a warning on it. So it says, "Warning: denies the horrors of slavery." Now they brought it back because Gone with the Wind became suddenly the most popular movie that was being requested by people online because they were afraid it was going to be banned. What people don't realize is that Gone with the Wind, it was not a historical video. It was not like a documentary. They didn't have film back then in the 1860s or whatever. It didn't exist. So it was actually a film done in the 1930s, early 40s. That was about antebellum South and the Civil War and slavery. And the woman there, Hattie McDaniel, the black woman right there. She became the first black actress to win an Oscar. She won a Best Supporting Actress in very, very segregated Hollywood. They had to actually have a separate award ceremony for her so she could accept her glorious award. And it wasn't until 2002 that Halle Berry, a black actress, won a Best Leading Actress role. So people said that you have to wear have to have this denies the horror of slavery on the Gone with the Wind. So I suggested that if they're going to do that, they should also do The Sound of Music. I don't understand Sound of Music. I've never actually watched it all the way through. Don't think I could. My wife loves it. It's kind of a chick thing. Denies the let me move my logo here. Denies the horrors of the Nazi Germany and the Holocaust. I guess that's where the movie went. I've never made it through the entire movie before. But again, I suggested that they do that. So the Sound of Music should have that sort of warning on it. Let me move my logo back up here. I also suggested that perhaps Hogan's Heroes, which is, I never really understood that show, kind of weird, denies the atrocities of Nazi prison camps. That was something you ought to have there. You had Colonel Clay Schultz, and you had Schultz, I know nothing, and you had a French guy feeding him food so he could, avoid the fact that under the bunk beds there was a tunnel leading out to a tree stump that, could allow people to escape. I know, weird. And then, of course, you want to do this to E.T., the movie. Denies the horror of being left behind on an alien planet being adopted. Actually, I wouldn't even say, like, voluntarily adopted, but maybe abducted by a human child. Got to have that on the E.T. thing there, because old E.T., he was left behind, and it was horrible. It was horrible. So people went in a little crazy. Now, a couple of little things here real quick. In the Houston Realtor Association, they're going to get rid of master bedroom. They're going to call it primary bedroom because master implies that it's a slave master's bedroom. I want you to know that. The Lakota people, 2 tribal leaders in South Dakota want Mount Rushmore to go bye-bye. Oh, it's 2 tribal leaders. Well, tear it down. Tear it down. Bye-bye. That's the next thing, and you're going to be hearing about this more in the next couple of days. BET founder Robert Johnson says that he wants the U.S. to pay $14 trillion in slavery reparations. He wants to bring the wage gap, the wealth gap between black and white Americans together, so he's going to give money to black people because they're black people. He's a really rich black guy, and so I would like to receive millions of dollars so I can have a wealth gap that doesn't exist between me and him because I'm not wealthy. So Robert Johnson, if we're going to go this way, please You're probably worth hundreds of millions of dollars. I would like hundreds of millions of dollars so we can all be equal. Just saying. I'm just saying. I think we're going to wrap this up here pretty shortly here, kids. I'm not going to do that. Here's some idiots talking about the 4th of July. These are, I'm assuming, teenagers talking about the 4th of July, and I am going to celebrate the 4th of July with extreme patriotism. Quite happy to do that. This is another TikTok video featuring idiots about why you shouldn't wear the colors red, white, and blue on Independence Day.
During Pride Month for many obvious reasons. And America sucks right now. And honestly, if you support it and choose to wear red, white, and blue and
supporting Trump, they're going to totally talk up during the entire interview. They're talking up. That generally reveals that they're really stupid.
Racism, literally. You're supporting all of that, and it's disgusting, and you shouldn't. So don't wear red, white, and blue on 4th of July. Wear rainbow. Yes.
Wear rainbow. Stop it. These are people who are so stupid, and I said this years ago. I've said this for years. You require a certain amount of intelligence just to breathe. I don't know if you knew this. Just to keep your lungs going and your heart going without you thinking about it. There's an intelligence in your brain that causes you to be able to do that. They're barely above that. I mean, barely. Just enough to breathe. Just enough to keep their heart rate going. Other than that, no intelligence whatsoever left over.
We want everyone to wear it. We don't want to see red, white, and blue posts. I don't want to see those.
It's red, white, and blue. It's not red, white, and blue. It's red, white, and blue.
Independence Day captions. I don't fucking
Caption your posts.
Oh my God, I'm talking up again. Dear God, this is so cliche.
Hashtag all countries matter.
Hashtag you're an idiot. Hashtag you're a moron.
On 4th of July.
Yes.
I want to see
rainbow flags on cheeks.
Seeing everyone.
Are you demanding? Is that what you're doing? Because I don't even know your names. You're so stupid.
Yeah. Rainbows and captions with hashtag all countries matter.
Hashtag all countries matter. Well, North Korea doesn't effing matter. No, it doesn't. China doesn't matter because they murder people. Yeah. So some of those shithole countries that the president talked about, they don't matter.
That's what I want to see. And spark.
That's what I want to see, but it's not going to happen because you're such a moron. Such a moron. Oh, speaking of morons, this is funny. This is a woman captured on video trying to fill her gas tank, and she couldn't figure out that the gas tank is on the driver's side of the vehicle. I thought this was very funny. It's not really apropos of anything. It's not political. It's just somebody just so stupid, almost as stupid as the girls you just saw.
She already did this.
Watch this. So she's looking over here on the passenger side of the vehicle.
Okay.
She has no idea that the gas, the tank is on the driver's side where she's getting it. Watch this.
So she knows that now.
This is good. So this is good.
So she should now drive so that it's on the driver's side.
Okay, here she goes.
He's on the driver's side.
The same side as her, right?
I get confused sometimes, but I'm not Joe Biden.
Yes.
Okay.
Joe Biden would do this.
But she pulled a circle last time. No way she's going to do it again. Now
let's go forward here a little bit. Here we go. She's pulling around.
Yeah.
Remember, the gas tank is on the other side. What's she going to do? What's she going to do?
She's going to the same
What's she going to do?
No, she would have had to pull.
She's going to pull to the same side. She's going to get out.
Side the tank is on, or does she think?
Watch.
Pulled up again on the wrong side. Hang on.
On the wrong side. Here we go. She gets out.
That person just whipped it.
Hold on. She's getting the gas pump again. God, it's not there. Carol, you've seen this.
Okay.
Dear God,
so
she can't be stupid.
Now she's got it.
Now she's got it. I've got it this time. I'm going to pull around here again.
Oh, no.
She's going to do it again. She's going to do it again.
There's no way.
She did it again.
No, she's pulling.
But I'm sure she's a big BLM supporter.
Oh, this.
Oh, she's backing up. Maybe she didn't notice.
I had a big BLM this morning. Not Black Lives Matter. Completely different. Just completely different. So a lot of people are being told they have to go to grocery stores. Here we go. Yeah, here it is here. Go to grocery stores. When you go to grocery store, you have to wear a mask, and this starts in Kansas tomorrow. It's idiotic. It's stupid. But if A company says you have to wear the mask in the store. You got to wear the mask in the store as much as you don't want to wear the mask in the store. I don't like it. It sucks. Now, if a police officer pulls you over because you're walking your dog on a sidewalk and you don't have to wear a mask, you can say to the officer politely, "Sir, this is a mandate. It is not a law. So I do not have to wear a mask." Okay? So you can, as a business owner, say, wear your underwear outside of your clothes or you don't eat here. You can do that because it's a private industry. That said, a woman was asked, this is in Dallas, to wear a mask, and she decided to have a temper tantrum like the left normally does in places like Chaz or Chopped. Here she is throwing a temper tantrum when she decided she didn't want to wear a mask. There's your Cascade complete, and your ho-hos, and your Funyuns. There's your Kashi Go Lean cereal. I'm going to show you. There's that panini pressed bread that I got. I'm throwing a temper tantrum. That makes a lot of sense. Kind of being a douche. There's a couple of other different pandemics that are roaming the country. There's the stupid. The stupid is happening majorly. The stupid is happening around the country. People are being really stupid, tearing down statues of Columbus because George Floyd died, and changing the name of Eskimo pies. Yeah, there she just being. Is it possible for women to be dicks? I'm thinking, yeah, it's possible for women to be dicks, and she's was certainly that. Oh, this is pretty fun. I'm not going to do heavy anymore. I'm going to kind of wrap things up on the light here, if you don't mind. This is Newlyweds. This is off the coast of California. They wanted to get the perfect shot. And so they decided to stand on some rocks near the ocean, and unfortunately the ocean would have none of that. Watch this. Get the perfect shot. It's perfect. No, stand right there. Seriously, stand right there. This is awesome. The sun, hurry. The sun is going down. The sun is going down, and hold on. Here we go. And, of course, they get swept. Hold on, it's coming up here. There's the fire department arriving because they apparently got swept into the ocean. There we go. They got swept into the ocean. Where'd they go? Where's her bouquet? There they are. They're in the ocean. They're in the ocean. There they are. Somebody's rescuing her from the ocean. I don't think this is going to go in the album. I just don't think it's going to go in the album. There he is being rescued as well. Oh, man. That's terrible. That is terrible. Something to remember. This is a pretty cool video. I think you guys will appreciate this. I am a dog person. I love dogs. Dogs are a gift from God. Dogs are wonderful. Oh, my God. I love my dogs. And I've loved dogs my entire life. I just wish they lived longer. It sucks. If you could keep a dog your entire life, oh, how glorious that would be. But dogs are wonderful. This is a golden retriever named Moose. And Moose is... he gets a lot of joy out of greeting his mail carrier every day. And the people who own the home and have Moose as their pet, I don't say own the dog because that'd be like white supremacist or something. Anyway, they realize, and this is in Grand Rapids, Michigan, that the dog loves the UPS driver and the mail driver. And this is a kind of a little montage of the dog and his glorious friendship with a mail carrier.
What?
There's Moose. Come on, Moosey. Go. Who's here, Moosey?
Come in, okay?
Go, Moosey.
Okay.
Who's here, Moose? Is he your friend? It's your friend! Moose, my friend! There's Moose! I love dogs. God bless dogs. I love this. Dogs are your friends, man. Dogs are glorious. Cats, I think cats suck. Sorry, I just think cats suck. It's going to make people mad, but I don't care. There's Moose. So happy to see the mayor care. Oh, look at there. There's Moose. Hi, Moose. That dog loves that mail. He's like, this is the highlight of my day. Hello. This is friendship. This is wonderful. I love this. My God in heaven. A little bit more. Move it. There's a winter. Moose in the winter. Hello. There's my good friend. And even though it's cold outside, I'm going to go out and say hi to my friend. There you go. Okay. In spring, here's Moose. Moose saying hi. Hi, Moose. Okay. There you go. Thank you to UK Daily Mail for that awesome, awesome video. Let's do 2 more pieces of video. This is pretty funny. This is a PSA from Jason Voorhees about wearing masks. I don't know who put this together, but it's kind of funny. It's Jason Voorhees, who is, of course, the Friday the 13th guy who killed people. Kind of a twisted way to say you should wear a mask, but kind of entertaining as well.
It's not easy. The mask kind of makes people uncomfortable. I wish everyone could see me for who I am. Just trying to fit in. I know. The whole chainsaw thing. I get it. But the thing is, behind the mask, I'm just a regular guy.
Oh, that was pretty funny. By the New York governor, whatever. Kind of fun. Carol, I enjoyed. Glad you enjoyed that dog video. Finally, I'm going to play one more piece of video. This is from a Clay County Sheriff's Office in Florida, and honestly, they're tired of the nonsense. They're tired of police officers. 800 of them have been injured, several killed in the violence that has followed the George Floyd killing by a police officer that was uncalled for and unjust, and it was a murder. That said, there have been some municipalities that have rolled over and allowed chaos to take over, including Seattle. And there are some municipalities that are saying, no, I don't think so. This is Clay County Sheriff Darrell Daniels and his fellow officers saying they're not going to put up with this shit in Florida. He's actually a black dude.
Hey, folks, me and the men and women of the Clay County Sheriff's Office just want to weigh in on what we're seeing going on, played out across the media.
But I'm seeing kind of some multicultural stuff there. You got black people, you got white people, like maybe a Hispanic or two in there.
Yeah, or mainstream.
Senior citizens, younger citizens.
Media in this country. Look, folks.
I thought police officers were all white. And only hated black people.
Fall victim
I guess I was wrong.
Subjecting yourselves to this conversation that law enforcement is bad, that law enforcement is the enemy of the citizens that we're sworn to protect and serve. We swore an oath. And in that oath, we swore to...
Have you, at your job, have you ever been sworn to protect and to serve other people? Even at the possibility of losing your own life. Have you ever done that as a realtor or as a whatever? You ever do an oath that you would protect and serve the public, even at your own peril? Most haven't.
To support, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States and the government. And that we're duly qualified under the state...
This guy's an Uncle Tom. I mean, seriously. Total Uncle Tom.
Constitution to hold office. That is, for me as a sheriff, and for these men and women as deputy sheriffs. And we end that with...
It's pretty much dudes, actually, but that's cool.
So help me God. But God is absent from the media's message or Black Lives Matter or any...
Love this guy!
Other group out there that's making themselves a spectacle, disrupting what we know to be our quality of life in this country. In Clay County, we have a great quality of life. We have a great relationship with our community. But across this country, not so much. I just wanted to take a stand with these men and with these women who feel the same way that I do. Lawlessness, that's unacceptable in this country. Lawlessness, that's unacceptable in Clay
County. The guy on the left there looks just like my brother Larry, who just retired from law enforcement.
County. And if you threaten to come to Clay County and think that for 1 second that we'll bend our backs for you, you're sadly mistaken. I know what happens when lawlessness prevails.
Come on, baby.
And in this day and time, God is raising up men and women, just like the folks you see standing behind me, who will have strong backbones and will stand in the gap between lawlessness and the good citizenry that we're sworn to protect and serve.
Well said, sir.
So you can threat all you want. You can say, hey, let's go to Clay County. Or let's go.
You can try to tear down statues. You can try to set up an autonomous zone, and we'll kick your asses.
Go to some other peaceful county where their problems don't exist, or not so much like across this country, where relationships are great and not strained, and where the people support their sheriff and support the men and women who wear the uniform. And you'll have something waiting on you that you don't want. Yes, we'll protect your constitutional rights as long as you remain under the umbrella of peaceful protest or peaceful march. But the second that you step out from up under the
love this guy
protection of the Constitution, we'll be waiting on you.
But that doesn't make me gay.
And we'll give you everything you want. All the publicity, all the pain, all the glamour and glory for all that 5 minutes will give you. Is it a threat? Absolutely not. But somebody has to step up in front of the camera and say, enough is enough.
This is what the mayor of Seattle didn't do for a month, and 2 people were murdered, and felonious crime went up 525%.
Tearing up Clay County, that's not going to be acceptable.
Come on, baby.
And if we can't handle you, you know what I'll do? I'll exercise the power and authority as the sheriff, and I'll make special deputies of every lawful gun owner in this county. Whoa. And I'll deputize them for this one purpose, to stand in the gap between lawlessness and civility. That's what we're sworn to do, and that's what we're going to do.
Bravo. Okay, that's going to do it for the show, guys. I do appreciate you joining me. I'm going to be on Newsmax TV this weekend, hopefully 2 or 3 times, maybe more. Anyway, newsmaxtv.com for all your local listings, including 349, Channel 349 on DirecTV, among other things. Thanks for watching. I do really, 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 really appreciate it. I took a day off to be with my daughter and was glad to be able to do this show for you. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you'll share it with others on social media. Share it on Parler, P-A-R-L-E-R, P-A-R-L-E-R. It's Parler is what people are calling it now because it's Americanized. Anyway, Parler is another social media site that I'll be sharing my material on and eventually getting completely off of Facebook because they're awful. And, they censor me because I'm conservative. So have a glorious evening. I will talk to you soon. Don't catch the stupid. Like the rest of the country much has had. I really think positive things are ahead. And here's the thing. Evil doesn't win. Evil and bad doesn't win. So these people who are tearing down monuments and wrecking cities and wanting mail-in voting because they know that it's fraudulent and supporting unhindered abortion and all of these things, they're evil. And evil will not win. It will not win. Good will triumph. You're good. I'm good. Have a glorious evening, guys. God bless. See you soon.